Jarhead. Noun, slang for marine. Origin, from the resemblance to a jar of the regulation high and tight haircut. The marine's head by implication therefore also a jar, an empty vessel.
And Jarhead 2005 is sort of just that. Jarhead doesn't really tell that much about anything, but at the same time, it gives all the information you need. Jarhead, released in 2005, based on the 2003 memoir with the same name by Anthony Swofford and starring Jake Gyllenhaal, is an interesting movie to me. Despite the large amount of negative reviews saying that this was a horrible movie because it was boring, the acting was dull, or because it didn't have anything new to say, I still very much enjoyed the movie. I'm not sure what specifically I enjoyed about this movie, but I figured I'd go through the interesting parts and pick them apart, starting with the most vital to understanding the whole situation, the history. As I previously mentioned, the movie is based on Anthony Swofford's own experiences living in the desert during the 1991 Gulf War. The 1991 Gulf War began after the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait on 2nd of August 1990. The invasion was a result of many things like Saddam Hussein's personal views on Kuwait, Israel and the UAE, border disputes with Kuwait, and most importantly, the economic situation at the time. See, in the 1980s, Iraq had gone to war with Iran because Hussein believed that Ruhollah Khomeini, the leader of Iran, was trying to spread radical Islam to Iraq. So Saddam Hussein decided to straight up attack Iran. Great job, guys. Which led to the economic downfall of Iraq. That and the loans that Iraq took from Kuwait, which Iraq decided to not pay back after the war, soured the relationship of these two countries. So when in 1990 Saddam thinks that Kuwaitis are stealing his oil from across the border by slant drilling, he decides to invade the damn country. The UN and the US did not like this one bit, and within hours of the invasion beginning, a meeting was held by the UN. Sanctions were put into place to try to deter Iraq from Kuwait. The US and a coalition of 35 countries sent troops to defend Saudi Arabia in Operation Desert Shield. This is the situation where Anthony Swofford is in. It's a complex situation where most of the soldiers don't even know what they're doing.
Why are we still here?
This is also expressed in the movie, where the guys seem to be in love with the concept of war. But once they arrive, they're easily bored, almost like they were expecting immediate conflict. Instead, they got to see vaccines, burning oil fields, and the highway of death. And also about the vaccines, there's nothing wrong with... There was nothing really wrong with taking them, it's just that they took so many simultaneous doses of these vaccines, which probably contributed to the Gulf War syndrome, and that along with stuff like contaminated water, the burning oil wells, the smoke from the oil wells, depleted uranium from ammunition and armor, all of that kind of added to the Gulf War syndrome. So it's not just some vaccines. Another complaint I also saw was that Anthony Swofford was unlikable, which brings me to my second point. And here I gotta add that the characters are totally fucking assholes, right? Or a lot of them. That was kind of a part of the sort of commentary that this movie did. They do portray these guys as total assholes and completely inconsiderate. But on a more serious note, even though I wouldn't do this stupid stuff myself. I've definitely met these types of people in real life. If you had a group of friends that you hung around with a lot, you probably did a bunch of stupid shit with them. And this really shows in the movie as well. Characters constantly misbehave like immature kids, which, let's be real here, they are. Swafford talks about his boredom throughout the movie. The characters zerk off.
But you zerking off? You must be zerking off, Jim. Why do you have a lotion here? You zerking off? You zerked off today.
No, I don't know why that's there.
No, I know you zerked off. I know it.
Talk about women.
Yeah, boy! Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Oh, no, please don't look!
Have scorpion fights. And drink a lot. And let's not forget field fuck.
It's just good old American shit.
Stop it! Stop it, you asshole! Stop it! Put your clothes on! You wanna put your clothes on and quit acting like monkeys? You stupid motherfuckers! Put your clothes on, asshole! Come on. Let's go check out the artillery and everything.
Field what?
He said field fun. That's one of the exercises that we run here when we're in the field.
So yeah, the immaturity of the guys is definitely something I can personally relate to, because we've all been immature like that. It's very funny because you feel like you have also been there and known people like Kruger, Troy, Fergus, Fowler, and so on. But I can see why some people would think it's not that relatable. Like I said, very gender stereotypical, so if you didn't have these types of friends, then you wouldn't know as well. Boredom makes you do dumb shit, but speaking of boredom... Boredom is a common criticism about the movie. It's too boring, they say. It's boring on purpose, and that's clear from the beginning. They even reference the boring and unconclusive ending at the beginning of the movie, where Troy Swafford mentions Metroid.
What would you be doing if you were a civilian? Staying up late, jacking off, playing Metroid, trying to get to that 9th level?
You know what happens when you get there? Nothing. Just start all over again.
The scene, the explanation for what happens at the end of Metroid is a foreshadowing of the movie's ending and the anticlimax of it. There's no big battle at the end. The movie's ending is left open. Although the movie does give closure to Swafford's relationship with his girlfriend and the whole Gulf War but the characters themselves don't have that much of closure. The boredom definitely made me more immersed. The lack of stuff didn't mean that it wasn't interesting. It's a movie about nothing that tells a nothing story, but it is still based on a real story, and once you accept that nothing happens in the movie, you become bored, but at the same time immersed, and that's how the movie pulls me in. And for me personally, if you remember, this is about what I personally like about the movie. Every single goofy thing that the characters do sort of keeps me entertained throughout the whole movie without the need of constant action, which brings me yet again to another point. This is a short point, but cinematography in certain scenes is great. I really like the shots of the oil wells burning and the party scene at the end of the movie. That's about it. Again, short point, I love the different songs used in a movie, but my favorite has to be Raining Oil. It's the atmosphere that it gives off. It makes me feel like I'm on another planet.
The shit is over, motherfucker. You didn't die. Have a cigar.
So, that's how I feel about Jarhead. Not that I think it doesn't have flaws, but I still enjoy it. And that's alright. Join me next week as I cover Jarhead 2. Just kidding. I'll never cover Jarhead 2. I don't even know why or how they made those sequels. Well, I just realized that I didn't even talk that much about the message of the movie or what they're trying to say with it. But I mean, I guess that wasn't really the point. But I'll just, I might do that for another movie if anyone wants these in the future or these types of videos. So yeah, that's it. Bye.